Hola, hola, hola. Aquí estamos en Lección 6.4, and we're going to talk today about demonstrative adjectives and pronouns. We've already talked about, all kinds of adjectives and all kinds of pronouns, and this is actually a kind of a special case. So let's look at demonstrative adjectives and pronouns. All right, so demonstrative adjectives demonstrate or point out things. Now remember, and adjectives modify nouns, right? So they're always going to go before the noun. That's what it says, number one, precede the nouns, they modify, and they're going to agree in gender and in number. There are three basic ones, and that's este. Well, so for example, esta camisa, ese vendedor, and aquellos zapatos. Okay, so those are the three. There's a word with a T, a word without a T, and then a form of aquellos. So this will make more sense here in just a second. So let's look. Here's a better chart. So we have ones that mean this and ones that mean those. That's este for masculine. Notice it does not end in an O, it ends in an E. Este. And we have esta, which ends in an A, so it's feminine. In the plural side, we have estos, which now does end in OS, and estas ends in AS. So a couple of take-home things here, again, as to why accents are so important. Now we have esta without an accent on the A, and we're going to have another form here in just a second. So again, no accents on these adjectives that come before the nouns. So este, esta, estos, estas are the ways of saying this or these. So esta pluma, este teléfono, ¿verdad? So means this, the thing that's here right with me now. The next one, ese, again, ends in an E. Ese for masculine, esa for feminine, esos, OS for masculine plural, and esas for feminine plural. And that means those. So I have this one here that's with me. I have those that are right there. And then the third form, aquel for masculine singular, no O. Aquella for feminine singular. Aquellos with an OS and aquellas. And that form, that whole bottom third line is those over there. So I have this, that, and those way over yonder. So that's the three distinctions. Now notice what it says up in the second bullet point, the relationship between the speaker and the noun. So if I'm talking to you and you're 100 yards away, but I'm trying to say that one over there, that's regarding to me. And so I'm going to use aquel, even though for you it's right next door to this person I'm talking to, it's right there. It's all from my point of reference. So it's this close to me, that not too far from me, and those over yonder, that's the aquel and aquella. So we're demonstrating which one we're talking about. We're pointing out we're using an adjective to describe this noun by saying, demonstrating which one we're talking about. Here's a tip. Notice what it says in red. T is close to me, so it's a rhyme. So if you're trying to remember between este and ese, the one with the T in it, este, is one that's close to me. So let's go back. So look here. So este, esta, estos, estas all have T's in them. So those are close to me. Ese, esa, esos, esas, aquel, aquella, aquellos, aquellas don't have T's, so they're further away. So the T is close to me. Just a little helpful tip there. So again, demonstrative adjective este, esta, esos, estas are used to point out nouns that are close to the speaker. The T means it's close to me. Here in the sentence, me gustan estos zapatos. Here the man is talking about these shoes that he has right there with him. These shoes, they're close by. Ese, esa, esos, nesas don't have a T, right? Are used to point out nouns that are not close in space and time to the speaker. That or those. They may be close to the listener, and that's okay. We're not talking about the listener's point of perspective here. So here the wife says, prefiero esos zapatos. So he said, me gustan estos, the ones right here. She says, prefiero esos. I like the ones that are right over there. So she's talking about the ones that are not there with them in time or in space. Aquel, aquella, aquellos, and aquellas are used to point out nouns that are far away from the speaker. So that or those over there, over yonder, as we used to say down south. So that's the 3 different times. They all refer to space related to the listener. Okay, so that's demonstrative adjectives. Remember, adjectives modify the nouns. They're going to take that noun and modify it by now giving it a location. Pronouns take the place of nouns, right? So instead of saying Rick over and over and over again, I replace that with the pronoun yo. So the pronoun is standing in the place of the noun. Demonstrative pronouns then take the place of the noun. It just so happens that they look a heck of a lot like the demonstrative adjectives, except now they carry an accent mark. Okay, so mind blown. So we have esta, which has the accent on the E, and that now is a demonstrative pronoun. That word can stand alone. Esta, without the E accent on the E, is a demonstrative adjective. It has to be used with the noun to modify it. Demonstrative pronouns then can take the place of the noun, and the noun can be omitted. So the example we have in the box, I want that plate. Yo quiero este plato. I want, if someone said, which plate do you want? I want este. Okay, so if I say yo quiero este plato, that's an adjective. I'm describing plate. If I say yo quiero este, now my word este is taking the place of the noun plato. It still means the same thing. It means this one in location close to me, but there's now a pronoun that's taking the place of the noun. It's actually pretty slick. So let's take a look at these. So they're the exact same as the adjectives, except that they all carry accent marks. Este, esta, ese, esa, aquel, aquella, those are all singular. Estos, estas, esos, esas, aquellos, and aquellas are all plural. Notice that they all have accents on the first E, so that can be the rule that you can help to remember for yourself. Demonstrative pronouns have accents on the first E. And again, this is where I meant to bring out how important those accents are. So think of the word in Spanish, esta, esta. Okay, without an accent, it's a demonstrative pronoun. With an accent on the E, it's a demonstrative, without the accent, it's a demonstrative adjective. With the accent on the first E, it's a demonstrative pronoun. With an accent on the A, it's now a verb. So we have esta, esta, and esta. 3 words that to us are all spelled the same, but shows the importance of accents. Okay, so let's look at this example. ¿Quieres comprar este suéter? No, no quiero este, the one right here. Quiero ese. I want that one. So those are pronouns. We're not repeating the word sweater in the answer, so those are taking the place of sweater. In the first one, ¿Quieres comprar este suéter? There's no accent. It's used with the noun, so it's an adjective. In the second one, both este with the accent and este with the accent are taking the place of sweater, so now they are pronouns. ¿Vas a leer estas revistas? So demonstrative adjective. Sí, voy a leer estas. These ones right here. También voy a leer aquellas, those over yonder. Notice that they still agree, right, with the noun. So in the first one, the noun is suéter, masculine and singular. So we have este or ese. And the second one, revistas, feminine and plural. So we have estas and aquellas. So it's still agreeing with the original noun, which it modifies or takes the place of. Okay, just like demonstrative adjectives, these demonstrative pronouns change in gender and number with the corresponding noun. Now this is interesting here. So look at this one. Este libro es de Pablito. One libro, right? That's the understood, that's the nouns, a masculine singular noun. Now the second response, estos son de Juana. So what do we know now? Now we know there's more than one book because now it's plural. It's still masculine because the understanding is that it's referring back to libro, but now we're modifying it and making it plural. In the first one, este libro, we have a singular pronoun or singular adjective, singular noun, so we have a singular verb, es. We've now changed it to plural. We're still talking about libro, but now we've made it libros. Estos is taking the place of that, plural, so we're using the verb son. Okay, you just have to wrap your head around that. Just think about that a little bit. Look at the sentence. It'll make sense. The underlying, the implication here is that we're still referring to a libro, a masculine noun. We've just now made it plural, but it still refers back to that original masculine noun. I think this is amazing. Okay, now for your minds to really be blown. We haven't really talked about neuter things very much. We're going to look at 3 forms that don't have any gender. And this seems completely backwards because now we're saying that they're going to be ending in an O, and that's going to represent a neuter gender. And that's esto, eso, and aquello. And those really are referring to concepts or ideas that don't have any gender to them. So if you say, for example, I like to read. Well, reading is neither masculine or feminine, right? So that concept of reading is now a neuter or gender neutral concept, and we replace that with eso because it's neither masculine nor feminine. So unspecified nouns, situations, ideas, and concepts that you can't identify. Okay, these do not change in gender or number because they don't have anything. It's the whole enchilada, the whole picture here is this gender neutral concept. So there's no gender, there's no number, and they never have an accent mark. Okay, so again, I know it's super confusing. You would think it would make more sense to have the esto, and aquello be masculine because that's what we're accustomed to, that it ends in O, but it's not. The neuter ones end in O and no accent marks. Okay, that's it. It's pretty straightforward. They're adjectives when they are used with the noun, no accent mark. They're pronouns when they're used in place of the noun with an accent mark, and when they are neuter gender reflecting ideas or concepts, they end in an O and no accent marks for those. So give it a go through Panorama, do the exercises, and as always, let me know what questions you have. Okay, guys, good luck.